Hey team, wanted to make a video. I am thinking of next steps. I've actually taken a few, making phone calls, looking a few things up on the internet. The camper is still a possibility, thinking of maybe doing that for a month, then moving on, but I will want something more stable, and so I kind of started thinking that direction too. Next steps could involve like having chickens, a little bit of homesteading, you know, but they don't allow them in Sartell where I'm at. You need unless you have an acre lot, and we don't. In the St. Cloud area, they allow them, but only if you have a rustic plot of land or one that is agricultural, zoned for agricultural use. I did look at those. There are some lots for sale. But I was just looking because I'm staying with my parents in Sartell, so I could get some of that stuff in while I'm here, except the lot is not zoned for chickens. We're not allowed chickens here. There's not enough space for them. And St. Cloud doesn't sound like it's going to be much better. There are lots for sale. That kind of got me thinking of, like I reached out to trailer parks because in the past, I've seen tiny house videos where you can park tiny houses in trailer parks. They might want some sort of supplemental income, and so they might rent, or you could maybe purchase and then park there. And they did say that they had trailers for rent, so I thought I would reach out just to see kind of what options I had available to me in that route. And they said one of them where they had said rent was like $500-$600, no longer has anything available, spaces or anything for rent. I reached out to another one, and they have a few trailers for sale, and so that kind of got me thinking, I can't have chickens here, I can't park the camper here, it doesn't make sense to get a plot of land. I'm at that age, I wasn't sure I'd be able to ever afford a plot of land, especially since I am single and I am getting older. I'm only 36, but I mean, in theory, that is, I should be settled in by that time. Quote unquote, per societal standards, with kids who are graduating, and I should be almost a grandmother now. But I'm not, so I'm dubious about if I want, as a single woman, to put myself on the line. I just paid off student loans. And so because I was a non-traditional student, I went to school later, and I just paid those off, and then I had a lump sum in my savings, and I used it to pay off my like credit card, and because I was working with nonprofits and they do not pay a lot, and so I really wasn't making ends meet, so I had to pull into my savings, and I ended up using my credit card a lot, and I probably overspent on groceries, and but I ended up using it because I thought I would be able to pay off all of my credit card debt, all of my debt, and then I would be debt free. But it turns out I was just a couple $1,000s off of that mark. I thought, well, that's not going to be that hard to pay off. And then I took that trip down south, and my car broke down. I bought the car, and I ended up living in the backyard last year and accumulated groceries because I didn't want to work. I burnt myself out working how many hours in the Twin Cities, and then so it's been an adventure, but I had that lump sum, and I don't have that lump sum anymore, and now I'm a little bit bummed about it, just because that would have been like a nice down payment on land. And just looking at it, because with these properties and things, you do want to put down money, like a lump sum, and I no longer have it, and I mean, I do have the credit card debt and still, and I've got the medical bills, and so I'm really kind of screwed over financially right now. And I think I've made that pretty clear. So, I don't know. I'm kind of kicking myself because I don't have that lump sum because I thought I would be out of debt, and I can cry about that later. but but that would have been nice because then I'm looking at properties. If I were to get properties like in the St. Cloud area, it's a little cheaper than here in Sartell, and there are like smaller, like half acre lots that I could, I could pay off in my lifetime. With that may have been a bit extreme, but if it's for however many for student loans, you have 10 years to pay off whatever X amount. What was it, 25,000 or something? And so that's 25,000, but it's like 80,000. So that's 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years. And I like getting the mortgage is, and so if I were to follow the same like schedule as like student loans, but I would, it would take a long time, and so like how so I would want something cheaper. There are things that like lots that were 40,000. There was one that was 40. Otherwise, most of them were like 80,000, like half acre little plots. And if I were, then I could at least park a camper there. I could put a tent on it until I can, raise money. It would be like it's rent to own, or it's just own, but with the mortgage, which is comparable to rent. And so that would be fine. I could definitely do that, except they do require that down payment, that lump sum. They generally require 15% to 20%, which would be the $15,000 that I no longer have because I thought I was going to be out of debt, and then up went the credit card. And so it's frustrating. Good. So, still thinking of what next steps are. I might still focus on getting the car first. Now it seems like the most practical option because 80,000, but I need 15,000, and I can get a used kind of cheap car for much less than 15,000. So that might be the route I take, but I am sad. I am very sad, just because it would have been nice to have used that money for something solid, instead of a wish and a prayer that didn't pan out. So now we're gonna go cry and then try and figure out the camper again. Okay, I will talk to you later. Bye.